Hey there guys, it's me, Uncle Greg, aka the Free American Spirit, coming to you live out here from the camper trailer park area. Hey, as you guys know, I moved down from New York, back down to Florida, so I haven't been on this bird in a while. I'm getting ready to go to the Suwanee Airport in Live Oak, Florida, where London Ivey is having a fly-in at the Suwanee Airport, the Suwanee FLYin. So I'll be headed up there tomorrow. I believe it's all day Friday, Saturday, maybe Sunday. It is an airport. I think they're going to close part down, but you can go to the Facebook page of London Ivey's and check it out and get more information or call him. I think his number's there. Anyways, had a bunch of stuff to do moving down. I've been starting this Falcon up about once every 2 weeks just to let her run, but other than that, it's set. So what you should always do for a fly-in, I'm just going to run through and tell you what I did, but you should check this stuff out. First, I pulled those big wheels off, and I made sure that they spun and the bearings were good. Did this thing just stop going? No, it's going. The second thing I did was the same thing with those wheels. I then went over, checked my fuel lines. I actually put a new fuel line right here, and I checked that one to make sure it's not leaking, flushed the tank. That was real good. And if Jeff Pearson happens to be listening, remember when I messed up the battery, or I didn't have it, I packed it somewhere and couldn't find it? Well, I got the new battery and we shorted out that strobe. Well, I got a new strobe, Jeff, and because you had this box and was wondering about it, I thought I would get this box and find out why these wires gave you a spark when you touched them. And the reason is this strobe runs off of either AC or DC on a plane, so the internals of this has a little, like a capacitor type gizmo in it, and that gets charged up. So I guess, you know, whether your plane is running or not, that'll have enough charge, it'll keep the little strobe going for a while, something like that. But that's why. So they recommend if you're going to change the strobe or plug stuff in and out, you wait a couple minutes, you know, each way, plugging it in and unplugging it. So anyways, guys, back to getting what I was doing here. One of the biggest things I always checked after the wheels is these bearing buddies. I make sure they're full of grease, you know, and everything's turning good. You want to make sure your wheels and bearings are nice and cool. I got these and put those on. Normally I would wrap the bird, but there's no call for rain, so I don't think I'm going to wrap it in any kind of a plastic or anything. You know, by now I wanted to have the toy hauler, but you know, moving and all the stuff I got to do is really chewing up my time. Getting back to this, up here at the front, I made sure that not only did I put the boat anchor tight and secure it, I also put an extra strap just in case that lets loose. And you see here I have these cable locks that I bought. They're a set of 3. I think I got them at Walmart really cheap. So one will go there, one will go in the back, and one will go from there to the bumper hitch so nobody can steal my trailer. Another thing that I did, I put some bling on the wheels. Mr. Terry, check that out. Now if you notice, yeah, it just has to get loud. If you notice that long rod, the wheels that came with this actually had double hubs for the bearings. You know, that wasn't the most important part to me. They didn't have any. I still have those hubs, but I went down to Tractor Supply, got 2 wheels, put those on. They're gold colored. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get those other hubs and put new tires and rims on them, and then they'll be good to go. But I didn't even realize those tires were all cracked and stuff until I, you know, started messing around with it and checking everything. And that's pretty good, because I'd hate for the tires to go flat on landing and I get that front end over there to dart me right over the landing zone. That would be a bummer. Let's see, what else did we do over here? So we got the battery, we got the strobe, we changed the oil. I always do that. Oh, and tie down straps. Even though that's secure up there, really good, and it has a double safety strap, I also have 2 double safety straps in the back going this way, and I also have this last one here. And the reason I do that is I've known personally of 2 friends of mine who've been hauling their trikes down the road. They had the 1 or 2 straps, and their birds came loose, and off they went into the wild blue yonder down I-75 or whatever highway they were on. So we don't want that to happen. I also came up, I adjusted my seat. I don't know if you guys do this, but I put my, see how my belt goes like this instead of around my gut? It's because I put it more to the side when I attach the bottom. That way, if you're in a wreck, it's pulling on your legs and not squashing your stomach, having internal injuries. It also, I made the adjustments so they can't come loose. I just taped them up, but it also pins you back against that seat. When I had my really big wreck on the Eagle, I mean, basically I was strapped in there tight and everything flipped around, and I never left that seat. I mean, no, I get it pretty snug, and I would suggest you do the same. Let's see, what else do we do here? We got the trailer working, checked everything out. Oh, I took my key, make sure that this is tied on so I don't lose it. Like I said, normally I wrap that in plastic. Oh, all your tie down straps, I've taken the excess and made sure that they're tied off so they don't come loose. You know, you'll stop about every 20, 40, 50 miles whenever you pee or get a drink or whatever you're doing. Just make sure you stop and check all those. You know, you want this, and that's, I'm glad I thought of this, you want this to be snug. You want to have a little tension on these axles. I can't tell you how many people told me that they've cracked welds, like on the Green Eagle or Falcon or wherever, because if this engine is 100 and some odd pounds, 120 pounds plus this frame, every time you go down the road and it bounces, you're having, you know, a couple hundred of thousands of little bounces up and down, just, you know, vibrating the hell out of it. So these tires, both the trailer tires and the Green Eagle and the Falcon tires, have half of their air pressure, and it's done like that because the trailer has no springs on it. So that's a shock absorber, that's a shock absorber. But in addition, I pull these down a little bit. You want to have a little tension on here so it doesn't spring as much. Most people tie them down, they just put a little snug, you know, and this thing is going wang, 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 wang. So, you know, you have to hit a pretty big bump to really get it to go up and down, is what I'm getting at. I checked my lights. You always do that before you leave, and oddly enough, this light right here looks like it's melted or something. It's staying on, but I might wrap that with a piece of electrical tape until I can get it done, you know, replaced. These tires, they've got about 8,000 miles. You can see they're wearing. You know, switching them around is not going to do any good. I'd actually have to take the tire off of the wheel and switch it around to get this part to wear even. But they're just cheap Walmart tires, you know, so God, they've been out to Texas twice for Green Eagle. They've been up to the Falcon 4-stroke place twice. They've been down here to Florida, New York, Pennsylvania, Kentucky, all over the place. Okay, what else do we have to do? Oh, since I don't have the little toy hauler anymore, I had to improvise and make me a place to sleep. So this is my work van. I took all the tools out. I left some for the fly-in. I've got spare Falcon parts and things like that, and some tools I'll need in case I have a problem. But basically, I just put this rack here. I took a piece of foot wide 1 inch and 4 inch, 8 feet long, and I put 3 hinges on it. So this piece right here goes up and down. Then I put these little hooks, 2 here, 2 in the middle, 2 on the other end, and I used that paracord, as you can see there in the middle, just to tie that up and keep it going. So when I'm done with the fly-in, you know, I've got my sleeping bag up there, I got some camping stuff, some paper towels, a blanket. I think I have the pole up there for my windsock, that kind of thing. So that way all this is clear. I can walk in and out. I got my pop-up down there, which would be nice. Got my grill over there. Don't know if you can see the grill. So it should be a pretty nice little thing. But when I'm done with that shelf, the reason I made it that way is I can just undo those knots on all 3 of those. That whole shelf will go back down, and I can move my tools in without that shelf sticking out and hit me in the head or whatever. So that's what it takes. Make sure you check your chains good. Also, I checked that electrical. That was starting to rust in there. It took a little time with a little wire brush and cleaned up those connections, put some electric grease on it, make sure it works well. I do have a lock for here that I'll lock, and like I said, I have a cable lock, so if I stay over somewhere because I get tired of camping, I won't have to worry about the bird getting taken. So that's the Falcon 4-stroke. That's the little upgrades I did, which is the 2 front tires, the gas line, the filter, the new strobe. Oh, And I just picked these up from www.paraorange. Can you see that? Yeah. www.paraorangeproducts.com. They were pretty reasonable. I picked a set up. Those are the 29 inches. I have a 68-inch blade, or however big this is. So, you know, there's an inch or so short, but who cares? And once again, they have these little hooks, so I hooked them all together just in case if they came loose here from these little fittings, you know, they wouldn't fly off. They're all connected. Let's see. Oh, I checked the torque. I got out my torque wrench, which I'll bring to the meet with me in case if you're at Suwanee and you need to torque your hub. And then after I ran it for about a half hour and let it run, I tightened up the lower pulleys, bolts, as Terry tells you to do. Oh, one more thing. Everywhere that I have one of these straps, I have one of these cloths or a cloth. Now, I don't know how this paint does. It hasn't come off because I've always used cloths, but the reason I do that, when I had the Green Eagle and I went to Texas the first time, you know, that was a big long trip, and by the time I got there, the powder coating had wore off. I assume, you know, dirt getting in there and these are kind of stiff, that would eventually wear down any paint job or whatnot, but I was really kind of upset. Luckily, I was going to Texas and Ashton, you know, we were rebuilding it anyways, but still, I learned a big lesson. So always put those cloths everywhere where you have a strap tie down, and make sure this is buckled for your seat belt so that doesn't come loose. Make sure that your throttle cable, I got mine back in this pocket, and there is a plastic bag wrapped around it. You know, and just do the maintenance, but make sure you check everything out, people. It's very important. You don't want to lose your bird, and you don't want to have to get to a flying and not be able to fly because, you know, you have bad wheels or a bad filter or bad fuel line or, you know, something small like that. So that's the video today, and when I get there tomorrow, which is Thursday, I'll be there early. I'll set up camp. I'll do another video and kind of walk around and show you what kind of crafts are at the Suwanee FLYin. Thank you, London, for having me or asking me to come up, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.